No, I don't remember.
So how do I rewrite this symbol, the f of x, so that it's an inverse instead? I need to like basically label this as an inverse. So we're going to label it as f inverse of x with the -1 power up there.
Oh.
Okay, good job. X plus 3 over 5. Okay, so this would be my final answer for this problem. Okay, and then Stephanie, I don't think you're here. Amar?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to help me out with number 1, okay? So what was the very first step? What do we do?
X.
Just
Y
y
equal, yeah.
equals
X plus X plus 7
minus 7.
minus 7
And then plus
plus
okay,
1.
We change the g of x to the y. And then Omar, do you remember the second step?
No.
So in the second step, what's the difference between here and there? What changed in the first one we did?
The Y in X.
Yeah, so how do I write that here?
So Y equals.
Well, I want this to change, right?
So
Y turned to X. So what do I write?
X.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then now what? This is the square root.
Minus 7.
Yeah, so y minus 7 and then plus 1.
Plus 1.
Yvonne?
Yes.
I need you to help me solve this. So what's the first step in solving for what?
Subtract.
Yeah. What am I subtracting?
1.
Okay, and from both sides, I'll have x minus 1 equals the square root of y minus 7. And then, Yvonne, how do I get rid of the square root? So the opposite of the square root was
Square.
yeah, so that's square both sides. So I'm gonna have x minus quantity squared equals y minus 7. What's the very last step? Yvonne, what do I need to get rid of? Yvonne, what's the only thing left with y? Yeah, how do I get rid of it? Yeah, add 7. So I'm going to get that y is equal to x minus 1 quantity squared plus 7. Thank you. And then, Ruby, are you here? Jamie?
Yeah.
So what's my fourth step? What's my very last thing that I'll do?
You change the y to a f, and then -1 and x.
Yeah, except for this one, it'll be a g, right?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is my final answer. We are going to be having a test soon. We're almost done with Unit 1. So it's really important that you guys know how to do this. If you're confused at all, please make an appointment for Flex Friday or one of my office hours in the morning. Okay, so these were the warm-up problems and their solutions. And now we're going to move on to do some new stuff for today. Let me let Jason back in. So yesterday it seemed like there was maybe some trouble with evaluating the piecewise functions. And so I want to go back over that today. I have this sheet of example problems that I'd like to do together. And then I want to start doing one of your activities today is an around the world. And I want to start doing that with you guys so that you have a good head start on it. Okay, so in number 1, we have a 3-part piecewise function. Okay, so we have 3 different sections of this function here. Right, so when we evaluate, we have to figure out what number inside of the, or where the number inside of the parentheses belongs in which piece of the domain, okay? So if we're looking at -5, where do you think, which domain, this one, or this one, does -5 belong in? Regina, are you here? Regina? Okay. Jarrell? Jarrell, are you here?
She said what?
Oh, okay, great, Jarrell. So I have -5 here. Does -5 belong in this, or this inequality? So Jarrell, is -5 between -6 and -1? Between -1 and positive?
I can't answer it right now. This baby is too loud.
Okay, that's okay. You take your time. I'm sorry, Jarrell. Let's see. Jonathan's not here. Jakeem?
I can't answer it now.
I know, that's okay. Thank you.
You hear me, Ms. Roberts?
I did, yes.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. Thank you for letting me know. Jakeem here when I called attendance. Jamarian?
Yes.
So Jamarian, does -5, which of these 3 pieces does -5 belong in? So is it between -6 and -1, -1 and +1, or bigger than 1?
-6 and -1.
Yeah, so -5 is right here in this piece of the domain. That means that I'm going to evaluate this number using the corresponding function. So I'm going to use the absolute value of x, okay? And I would like you guys to write these down as we go so that you guys have this as like notes for later on, okay? So -5 was in the domain -6 to -1, which means it corresponds to this function. So I should have the absolute value of -5 right here. And the absolute value of -5 is going to be +5. So this would be my final answer. What questions do you guys have on that first example?
So when we're writing down the domain, we basically just like write the rule, like the -6.
Yeah, so I was thinking I wouldn't have to write this down. This is writing it down to identify which
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Deborah. Katie, actually. Is -8 in any of these 3 pieces?
No.
No, so there should be no solution for this one, okay? -8 is smaller than -6, and none of these domains cover that, okay? So there's no solution for this part. What questions do you guys have about that? Okay, Olivia wasn't here. Abimail wasn't here. Jordan, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so is 1 in any of these 3 domains?
That's what?
Is the number 1 in any of these 3 pieces?
Yes.
Which one?
X greater than 1.
This one?
Yes.
So because this doesn't have an equal to sign, it does not include 1. So maybe it would be helpful if I drew out a number line of these domains. So for this first one, it goes from -6 to -1, and it has a filled in circle and an open circle. Okay, so that's my first one. Then it goes from -1, and this one is like a solid dot. It's a +1, and that one has an open circle. And then the next one is open, and then it goes, it's all numbers bigger than 1. Do you guys see how 1 is not included in our function at all? There's only open circles.
Okay.
Good. So that was kind of a trick question, so no worries. So we should have no solution here as well. Okay, and then Jason, your mic is not working. Could you just send me a message telling me what f of 0 should be? And Navre, are you here? Navre? Okay, let's see. Jamie, back to you. Jamie, are you here?
Yeah, I hear.
Okay, so for f of 0, 0 is like right in here. So which of the 3 domains am I going to look at to evaluate f of 0?
-1 and 1.
Yeah, perfect. So this domain is from -1 to 1. And so I need to evaluate it in this function, so the x squared function. So I'm going to have my value here squared, and 0 squared is just 0. So my solution here should be 0. Okay, so that's the first example with evaluating piecewise functions. What questions do you guys have about that? Okay, if there are no questions, we'll do the second example, and then we'll start on our around the world activity. So for our second example, we only have 2 different sections of the domain that we're looking at. So here, I'm going to do a number line thing again. We have values from 0 to 4, and then from 4 on. So this first section includes 0, and then goes up to 4, but does not include 4. And then the second section does include 4, and it's all the numbers bigger than or equal to 4. Okay, so those are our 2 domains. This one right here, and this one right here. Okay, so we need to figure out which one of those 1 belongs to. So Jamarian, can you tell me which one of them 1 is in?